Hey, welcome everyone back to the Unconnoisseur channel. My name's Matt.
And I'm Drew.
And today we are just doing the 10 in 10 countdown. We are going to be talking about number 80 through number 71 of our journey. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's get started. I'm just going to go ahead and start right off. So number 80, we had Sarah Vaugh, Sassy Swings the Tivoli. It was released on the Mercury label on LP and CD, and it was recorded in 1963.
Next, we had number 79, Courtney Pine, Journey to the Urge Within. It was on the Island record label, LP and CD, and it was released in 1986.
Number 78, we've got the Joe Harriott Double Quintet under the direction of John Mayer. The name of the album is Indo Jazz Suite, and it was released on the EMI Columbia Lansdowne Series and Atlantic labels.
Next, we have Mr. Herbie Hancock, The New Standard. That was on the record label Verve, and that was recorded in 1995.
Number 76, we've got Komeda Quintet. The name of the album is called Astigmatic, and it was on the Polski Muza Nagrania label, and it was released on LP and CD, recorded in 1965.
Then, sitting at number 75 in our countdown was Mr. Gary Burton. Album was A Genuine Tong Funeral, and that was on RCA Victor, LP and CD. That was recorded 1967.
Next up, we've got number 74, Jan Johansson, Jazz Parsvenska. It was released on the AB Megaphone label on LP and CD, recorded in between 1962 and 1964.
Next, we have number 73, Steve Coleman and Five Elements. The album was Motherland Pulse. That was on JMT. That was LP and CD, and recorded in 1985.
Number 72 on our countdown, we've got Woody Herman, The Thundering Herds. It was recorded on the Columbia label, released on LP and CD. It was recorded 1945 to 1947.
Number 71, we had John Surman and John Warren, Tales of the Algonquian. That was on DRAM label, LP and CD, 1971. It was recorded.
Yeah. So that's the last 10 that we've covered on our journey. And so let me ask you this: out of those last 10, which ones have you gone back to regularly? Do you have a favorite out of those 10?
I do. I think if I would typically and have typically gone back to Courtney Pine and Woody Herman for sure. Those ones I think probably grabbed my attention the most. There have been some sideliners, Herbie Hancock obviously, but maybe not this particular album, just more of his work. And then I've listened to a few times Sassy Swings the Tivoli, but listening to more Sarah Vaughn's work has probably been on my list of things to do. What about you?
Well, for me, my love of Courtney Pine, he's never off of my playlist. He's never off my radar. So I will continue to go back to Courtney Pine over and over and over again. I mean, I just love, I just love him. So he's one. Even The New Standard by Herbie is one of my favorites. It was a 10 out of 10 for me. So Herbie Hancock for sure. I love Gary Burton. I love the vibes. I love his sound, how he pulls the sound out of the vibe instead of whacking the vibe to get the sound out of it. So he's one that I will go back to over and over again.
Yeah.
So yeah, those hit me hard. Those definitely, and our scores kind of reflect what we like and what we're going to go back to.
Well, and I think some of it has been interesting going back to these albums over these last, what did we say last night, 8 weeks. So we've had Phil recording with us on these episodes, starting back with Joe Harriott through Herbie, Komeda, Gary, Jan Johansson. We said there was one he missed. Maybe it was
No, it
That was
was
John Johansson,
yeah,
because we were
Jan.
at Star Piano for the recording of that. So he
Yeah.
missed John, but then he was back for Herman and Surman.
I mean, he kind of got thrown into the drink without a lesson in how to swim. He came in on the Joe Harriott double quintet Indo Jazz Suite, and it was a tough one because when you wrap your mind around jazz, Indo Jazz Suite may not be the first thing that you think of when you think of the word jazz and jazz music. So he did a banging job hanging in with us. I'm so sorry that he wasn't invited the week before we did Courtney Pine, because he is
that would
another
have been
Courtney
killer. Yeah.
he's another Courtney Pine fan now, and again, it's never off of his radar, I think. But you know, a couple of easy ones. Herbie Hancock, he joined us for that one. Gary Burton, he didn't enjoy Tom Funeral, but man, he was digging on some of the Gary's other music. So I appreciate him being on our journey with us for sure. But man, he got thrown into the drink. Not an easy 10 weeks to cover for sure.
No, it wasn't. And then Dad's joined us on the last three. Steve Coleman at Electric Works, and I was back home for Woody Herman and John Surman. So that was quite a time to have everybody together for those.
It was exciting, wasn't it? The locations that we shot at was cool, and for sure.
And that is, I guess, my reminder as well. We were there for Steve Coleman, Jan Johansson, Herman, and Sherman, and Warren there. So it was pretty cool to be home to do some of those in live. So when I think about, wow, it's been a long 10 weeks, it really has, because of travel and different recording locations. But what a great group of albums, spanning from 1945 to 1995, Woody Herman's big band, all the way to Herbie Hancock's New Standard. So, man, what a 10 weeks it's been.
Right. So let me ask you this. Which one? Well, I mean, it's a tough question because we recommended these to first-time listeners anyways, but out of these 10, okay, let me ask you then. Let's reverse it. Would there be one that you would not recommend?
Matt, it's interesting because you and I wrestled with this recently in last night's recording, for example. I would say that every first-time listener needs to experience some of this music. It broadens the grasp of what jazz music is and could be. So from a hearing standpoint, if I wanted to hook, line, and sinker somebody into jazz, I would probably persuade them not to dig into, it's tough, Joe Harriott in the Indo Jazz Suite. Because it was a little more reaching when it came to jazz. But without hearing that, it's hard to grasp what jazz really can be. The world music that came out of that we understood now from John Surman and John Warren. Understanding Jan Johansson and, a couple of months, Jan Garbarek, the cultural music for the people of the time and the space, maybe folklore music. So all these little pieces, I would say you have to experience it, like it or not. It may not be what you love, but not everybody's going to love everything.
Right. That's true. It's a great quote from Robert Glasper. For me personally, it would probably be the Jan Johansson album, because it wasn't the music aspect that's kind of shook the world, but the recording aspect and the Manfred Eicher ECM connection that we found. For me, maybe a first-time listener, I'm not saying skip any album, but Jan Johansson album would be one that it would be tough to recommend to a first-time listener and say, hey, this is gonna get you into jazz.
That would be,
Yep. Well, I didn't even start my clock, so I don't know how much time we have left.
We got about 30 seconds if we try to keep it under the 10-minute window.
All right, perfect.
Is there any other thoughts on these albums? I mean, we've got ratings all the way as high. I'm looking at mine right now. Woody Herman, I gave a 9. And everything else, I'm thinking Jan Johansson for me was a 6.5. Y'all can go back and watch all those videos, but 6.5 on Jan Johansson, 9 for Woody Herman, and then, of course, Herbie Hancock's album got a 10. Everything, it looks like, as I'm looking at a glance, floated around 7, 8, 8.5. So I think these were all kind of middle of the road average albums.
We had some bangers though. I mean,
Yeah.
we
Herbie
definitely
and
had
Woody.
some bangers. Yeah. Oh yeah. Herbie and Woody, Courtney Pine for me, banging.
Yep.
Gary Burton for me, banging for sure.
Yep. Any last thoughts on it?
Not that I can think of. I just want to say thanks for joining us on our journey. Like and subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. And please feel free to leave comments. We love feedback on the channel.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's good seeing this this layout again. Just two big mugs on the window here. So
For sure.
Matt, have a great week.
All right, man. You too.
Jazz and enjoy some jazz music, y'all.
Yep. You too. All right. Peace out.
Bye.